My 24 female husband, 37 male, and I have been together for almost 5 years. We have 2 beautiful children, a 2-month-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. My family loves him, and they never say anything about our relationship. My brother still doesn't accept our relationship, but that's because they were friends since they were both in college, and he feels betrayed, or so I think. The point is that I cannot say the same about his family. He is from the UK, and I was there only when my son was born, and I met a part of his family. His father and sisters were very loving, but his mother not so much. We lived in his parents' house for a month until we were able to travel with our newborn baby, and during all that time, she didn't stop treating me like a little girl. She even told me that I was too young to be a mom. Fortunately, we returned to my home country and didn't see her in person again until a week ago. She came to meet our newborn daughter, and when she saw her, she got mad at me because my daughter's hair doesn't look so blonde in person. For her, everything I do is wrong. The worst part is that she is staying at our house, and when my husband goes to work, she makes me feel so bad. She compares me to my husband's ex-girlfriend all the time. She even told me that she keeps in touch with that woman and that she still considers her daughter-in-law. I kept quiet, and then she said, "But hey, you're my daughter-in-law. I guess that's good. But I wish you were at least 5 years older." She always tells me that my husband's ex-girlfriend is an amazing woman and that maybe when I grow up, she will say the same about me. She criticizes the way I raise my children, and she had the nerve to tell me that I'm too young to be a mom and that I will not be able to care for 2 children at my age. I told her that everything is easier with my husband's help and that we enjoy taking care of our children. And she said something like, "Yes, because that's all he wants, children, and you're very fertile." I told her to mind her own business, and she said, "Don't get mad." But I'm not mad. I'm really sad because her comments made me feel that I'm not good enough for my husband. He makes me feel special and tells me all the time that I'm the best thing that ever happened in his life and that he loves me, and I love him too. I can't even imagine my life without him, but this week was the worst week of my life. I can't stop thinking that I'm not good enough for him. I still didn't tell my husband what she told me because I don't want to create problems, but she plans to stay in our house for a month, and I don't want her to stay. She's driving me crazy. Talk to your husband, or better yet, remind her that you are adult enough to not let her stay with you if she keeps up her crap. But talk to your husband. Tell him what's going on, and if it keeps up, you will not be near that woman when he's not around. And if you're not around, your kids will sure as hell not be near that woman. Don't let her make you feel less than in your home. She is a guest and needs to act like one. I, 24 female, have a 3-week-old daughter and a almost 1-year-old son. And my husband, 37 male, and I have no problem raising 2 babies of close ages. My husband is a cardiologist and I work from home, so we have everything and more to raise 2 babies at the same time. Our families are happy with the arrival of our daughter, but my older brother is not happy at all. Since I started dating my husband, he wants our relationship to fail. Sometimes I understand his anger because my husband and he were friends since they were both in college, and maybe he thinks that my husband betrayed him. But the point is that yesterday we were at my parents' house, and everyone was very happy to see my daughter and my son as well. But after dinner I was breastfeeding my daughter and my son, at the same time as always, and my brother, I think he was drunk, started making horrible comments about me. First, he told me that I'm so stupid for getting pregnant 2 months after having given birth to my son. Then he told me that I won't be able to take care of 2 babies at the same time. And even told me that I shouldn't breastfeed my son and daughter together because that's disgusting. Of course, everyone tried to tell him to shut up, but he didn't. He said that I will regret in a few years of being a mom at such a young age. I ignored him and then said that I felt tired and wanted to go home to rest. My husband tried to defend me, and I preferred not to fight. I pretended that those words didn't hurt me, but they actually did. I mean, he never insulted me like that before, not even the first time I got pregnant. He really hurt me, and I think it would be best to cut off my relationship with him temporarily. But he is my mother's favorite child, and I know that if I cut my relationship with him, my mother would get mad at me. What can I do? If I got the ages correctly, your older brother is probably upset he wasn't capable of protecting you from your older husband. Taking into consideration the large age disparity and how much your brother knows about his friend's actual personality, I'm pretty sure he's frustrated at the outcome. I'll be the first to admit he had no tact, but I'm pretty sure he can see through what's going on, while the rest of your family is just happy that you had babies with a doctor. Update. A few days ago, I, 24 female, posted here, and to be honest, I didn't think that I would receive the amount of hate. Many people here said that my brother, 37 female, was right because he feels betrayed and is angry with my husband, 37 male, because he is 13 years older than me. And the truth is that my brother, of course at the beginning of our relationship he was angry with my husband because of his baby sister, doesn't even care if my husband is older. For him, the fact that my husband is 13 years older than me is not weird. I mean, our father is 15 years older than our mother, and we were always happy. They raised us with love, and even after 38 years of marriage, they still love each other and are an example to us. The point is that when I got pregnant with my first child, he gave up and accepted our relationship. And now he talks to my husband during family events, but they are no longer friends. But now they started talking more frequently, and sometimes they exchange messages. He was even happy when our first child was born, but when our daughter was born, everything was different. He didn't want to see her when I took her to my parents' house for New Year's Eve. Everyone was fascinated with her, except my brother and his girlfriend. Summarizing, the day after he insulted me, I called my mother, and she told me something that broke my heart. My sister-in-law, 34, was pregnant and had a miscarriage after Christmas. They have no children, and my mother told me that they have been trying to conceive for almost 2 years. I didn't know because they only told my mother about their secret. I'm sure he was processing, in the worst way possible, the loss of his own child, and that's why he acted so aggressively. Now I don't know what to do. I haven't talked to him yet, but in a few days it's my father's birthday, and I don't know if I should go. I don't want them to have to see my baby again. That would hurt them. If I don't go, there will not be any other kids in the house since my children are the first and only grandchildren of the family. We often have dramas, but I'll tell you of 3. The first time I can remember her doing this was when we were 17. Me, my sister, and my best friend Beth had just discovered her father, the local cop, was cheating on his wife. We caught him red-handed, and Beth asked me not to say anything until she decided whether or not to tell her mother. Later that night, I was dropping off other friends after the drama and returning home. Beth was waiting for me at my house with my sister, but I didn't know, and my sister called me, not warning me she had me on speaker. My sister said that Beth's father, the cop, had just pulled her over and fined her for a fake traffic offense. I thought my sister was still in the car, but she was at home. The cop likely did this because of what we discovered. I told her, fine, if he wants to play that game, we will expose what we know. I don't know why I said it. I never would betray Beth, and I never intended to tell anyone. And my best friend was gutted, and eventually defriended me because of what I said. My sister never apologized for not telling me I was on speaker. She's done this several times since. But back to the main story. The second best friend I lost happened when we were 25. My best friend Kate and I were on a single girls trip because her long-term boyfriend of 8 years had recently dumped her, and I was trying to get her away for a weekend to unwind. We went to a rodeo, and I had arranged to stay at my sister's on the way. We get to my sister's to discover that Kate's ex was at my sister's house. She lives in a town 4 hours away, and I was shocked. We had essentially walked into an ambush. I was horrified and offered to take Kate to a hotel instead, but she tried to brave the situation. My sister lied and said that she told me she had invited Kate's ex to stay, and I swear on my life that is untrue. It was an extremely awkward night, and we hid in the spare room all night. Kate, still heartbroken from the breakup, asked me if there was anything going on between her ex and my sister, and I swore, truthfully, that I had no idea they even talked, let alone that he would be here, but honestly said I did not believe anything was going on between them. Long story short, there was, and my sister ended up marrying him. The ordeal prompted my friend to literally move to the other side of the country. The most recent happened yesterday. At 33, my sister called me from a different town, asking me if rumors about my friend Lily cheating on her husband with a guy called Troy are true. The incident happened years ago. Yes, she did cheat, but it wasn't with Troy, it was with someone else. I kept Lily's secret for years, and before I responded to my sister's questions, I literally asked, "Am I on speaker? Who else can hear?" etc., etc. She told me she swore it would go no further. She just wanted to know because she had suspicions about Lily and her friend's husband. Despite my alarm bells, I told her Lily's secret, trusting it would stay between sisters. It didn't. My sister spread it, and now Lily and the guy she slept with have been attacking me. Believe me, I accept and am guilt-ridden over my share of the blame in all of these stories, but have also hit a point of not wanting my sister in my life, and not wanting her in my own wedding coming up. Kate and I are still close, and I want Kate to be my maid of honor, not my twin sister. This has broken my mother's heart, but I feel like I can't trust her. She's that toxic, and I don't want drama between her and Kate at my wedding. My mother just cried, and I don't know what to do. With enough time, I probably would get over it, but I've never been this serious before. Please tell me your thoughts. First, your sister might be a horrible person, but what's going on with you? This whole post is about the horrible stuff your sister has done, but you are responsible for a lot of what's going on as well. I mean, you guys are in your 30s, and you still act like this. I understand you have taken responsibility, but I am also questioning how bad of a person your sister really is. It's obvious you both have a lot of drama. My best piece of advice is grow up, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, you should self-reflect and maybe look at how you view life, because from what I read, I saw two little girls fighting over the mundane and stupid. Edit. Story 1. My sister was there when we discovered the cop cheating. She already knew. The breach of trust occurred when I told my sister later we would expose the story, even though I never would. It was instinct and a bad way of making her stop crying from just having been harassed by police. Story 2. I have never forgiven her for what she did to Kate that night. Never. I took Kate's side 100%, and it took years for my sister and I to have a relationship again after that. My sister and Kate's ex have gone on to 2 beautiful children who I love like they are my own. But even before this latest incident, I knew I didn't want my sister to be my maid of honor because of the Kate incident and the breach of trust and pure lies that occurred that night. I was maid of honor in both my sister's and Kate's wedding. Kate got the happy ending she deserved and got married recently and has a baby. Kate and I are still best friends despite it all. Story 3. Lily is a friend, but a serial adulteress. I kept her secret for 6 years. My sister assured me it was for her own knowledge and would go no further, but I ducked up regardless. I did apologize multiple times to Lily and took accountability for what I had done. We are still talking. Infidelity. Of course, I know it is wrong. Not going into that obvious topic. I've never cheated on a partner and never will. But if you think infidelity isn't out there, more than you know about, you're kidding yourself. And if your best friend made a mistake and came to you crying, and you promised to keep it secret, would you? Honestly, there are 2 relationships out there that would end if I didn't keep things secret. The guilt of knowing is as bad as the guilt of telling. Either way, I lose. People cheat. It happens. A lot. I'm not a cheater, and duck off to those insinuating that. I know I'm at fault. The breadcrumbs lead to me. I'm to blame. I've locked myself away in the dark since it happened, guilt-ridden and accountable, knowing I am a crappy friend and a crappy person. I know this. Telling me I'm crap over and over is obvious, geez. This post is about what to do about my own wedding and my sister in general. I grew up in a really small rural town. We were not well off by any means. My mom had grown up dirt poor, living off of ketchup sandwiches in a one-bedroom apartment with 6 siblings. My dad died when I was 16, unexpectedly, the day before I was due to start my last year of high school. He had worked for one company from when he was 18 until he was 50. He literally switched jobs the week before his death, therefore did not have any life insurance or anything. He had canceled his policy just before. All the money we had went towards the cheapest funeral possible and debts. My mom, my older brother, and me did not inherit any money from him. My family's salary dropped from $50,000 to just under $29,000. My mom ended up getting widow's benefits in my name and sometimes got donations from the food bank. She had to work 3 jobs just to survive. My parents bought their first home at the age of 18, and my mom didn't finish paying it off until last year. She couldn't afford the property tax a few years back, and the house almost got foreclosed on, so she borrowed $40,000 from her sister. The thing is, taxes went up, but her salary stayed the same, despite having the same job since my dad died. So anyways, when my dad died, my narcissistic mom started online dating within the same month. She met some guy abroad and ducked off to Europe for the whole year. The guy constantly cheated on her and gave her an STI. The guy later died of cancer, and she came home to see me graduate. She left me with only $100 for food and things for the year. It was rough, but my older brother didn't give a crap because he too was working 3 jobs to provide for his wife and 5 kids. Sometimes I steal food from my culinary class just to eat. My dad had been saving money for me every year since I was born. But somehow, when I was 17 and tried to take the money out for college, it was discovered my mom took the money and closed the account. I don't know how. I think she forged my signature. She said she needed the money to pay bills to stay afloat. She's never paid me back the $10,000 or ever offered to help me pay for college. Anyways, my mom has been married to some a-hole from the same country as her first ex. I don't know much about him, as he didn't give a duck about me when we lived together. He never bothered to talk to me. He became a U.S. citizen about 2 years ago. Things with them have been fine. I went no contact with my mom after my wedding. The thing is, she and her husband have just bought matching Tesla Model S cars, which means at least $150,000. She's even bought a vacation home. She joked on Facebook that she saved change to buy them and got a government rebate. Doesn't make any sense. She depleted her 401k to pay off her mortgage and gave her savings to my older brother to buy his first home, and hasn't had savings since. The only logical reason she could have afforded cars and another home is winning the lottery, but I can't find anything online. My husband thinks she's done some dodgy tax fraud. I am very worried that if she dies, I might be responsible for something sketchy. I don't know. Edit. Her new husband is also poor. He works as a cook at McDonald's and works at Dunkin' Donuts as a cashier just to help her pay the bills. His brother had to help him pay for his citizenship. If you had money, you wouldn't work 2 jobs to help take care of someone, because why have unnecessary stress? I also gave them $60 a week of my paycheck towards gas money. The guy moved in with my mom with only $600 to his name. The photo was taken in our backyard, and the registration is linked to her name according to online records. Well, she either hit the lotto or she's the new D-Lord in town. But either way, I wouldn't worry about it. Children can't be held responsible for their parents' debt unless they're on a joint contract of some kind.